As we continue to explore the C in ABCs, this curiosity, there's something to look for that's interesting, which is, you might call it the flavor, or more traditionally it's called the feeling tone of an emotion. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. It's one of the most important things to track in an emotion, because that's where we tend to get reactive or entangled. So it's that the feeling tone, the flavor of pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, kind of in the middle, is what gets us going in the reactivity.
So we either want something, don't want it, or don't care.
Right. Paying attention to that aspect of an emotion is an important part of learning to be with it in a balanced way and allow it to have its life and not be, as you say, yanked around by it.
So how do we actually do this? How do we look for the flavor, the feeling tone?
Generally just turning your awareness towards it.
And then it's blazingly obvious.
Yeah. So, is this pleasant, unpleasant, neutral? Most of the time it's really obvious. Something's really pleasant or something's really unpleasant, or if we're not sure, it's generally in the middle.
So it's not hard to find, you just have to try to find it.
It's not hard to find. I would say, just listen for it, feel for it. If you're not sure, a good way to tell is ask yourself, do I want this to continue? If the answer is yes, that's pleasant. Would I rather that this go on its merry way? If the answer is yes, that's unpleasant.
So what? Once you've discerned this, what do you do then?
So the flavor or the feeling tone is where the reactivity comes in. So that in and of itself can be the object of our meditation with an emotion. So if there's an emotion that's particularly unpleasant, sometimes just bringing the attention to that aspect of the experience, the unpleasantness of it, and just kind of holding the attention there and just being with that unpleasantness, starting to see if the resistance can relax around the unpleasantness, can loosen everything up, allow things to move through. On the pleasant side, the more awareness we bring to a pleasant experience, our capacity for joy, our capacity for pleasure grows. The other aspect of including the flavor or the taste of an emotion in our experience is that it also provides a window into its impermanence. Because paying attention to its pleasantness or its unpleasantness, we can start to see that quality of the experience fade. When we see that hit of unpleasantness or pleasure fade, it gives us another insight into the fact that the emotions don't stick around. There's nothing really there inside of them.
Hey, this is Oren. Welcome back. One of the reasons we get so pulled around by our emotions is that they kind of have a hook to them. That hook is the flavor, the taste or the tone of the emotion. So things like anger or fear or sadness have an unpleasant, disagreeable taste to them. It's that disagreeable taste that we react to, not the emotion itself. Joy, happiness, contentment, these have a pleasant or agreeable tone to them. This is a pretty important place to investigate with our meditation, because it's that pleasant, agreeable flavor that keeps us chasing after those emotions or trying to hold on to them when they're here. So when we can be mindful of the flavor, of the taste of an emotion, we're less pushed around by it, we're less reactive to it. And that means we have more choice in our lives, we're more balanced, we're more stable, we're more clear. So let's do some practice with noticing the feeling tone or the flavor of our emotions. Start out by sitting comfortably so that your body is upright without being rigid or tight. I recommend taking a couple of deep breaths to arrive more fully. See if you can notice the sensations of contact with the chair, the cushion, or the floor. Letting the thoughts and energy of the day just be in the background. There's a sense of being here fully and completely. Once again, turn your attention to include any emotions that might be present today. It's fine if you're not feeling any particular emotions. Just settle back into the body, feeling the breathing, and listen to the instructions. If there's nothing strong or obvious, see if you can look a little more closely. There's often some flavor of an emotion present. Maybe slightly calm or relaxed. Perhaps mildly restless. Just a little bit agitated. Might be subtle, under the surface or in the background. Whatever emotion may be present, checking your relationship with it to see if there's some balance here. If there's no particular emotion that you're feeling or finding today, you can also do this meditation with a physical sensation, looking for any physical sensation in the body that's pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. Now, see if you can identify the feeling tone, the taste or flavor of the experience. Is it more on the pleasant, agreeable side of things? Is it more on the unpleasant or disagreeable side? If you're not sure, you can ask yourself, well, would I like this experience to continue? If the answer is yes, then it's pleasant. If the answer is no, that's unpleasant. Now, see if you can shift your attention to just that sense of pleasant or unpleasant. Oftentimes, you'll notice right next to the pleasant or unpleasant some wanting leaning forward, or a pulling away or a resisting. If it's neutral or in the middle, you might notice that tendency to just ignore it, to not want to pay attention to it, feeling of being bored or not caring. See if you can keep bringing your attention back just to that sense of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Sometimes you might feel this in your body itself. You might also notice it more in your mind. A sense of, ooh, I don't like that. Or its opposite, that feels good. The I like it or I don't like it is the reaction to the feeling tone. Whatever the feeling tone is, you can use a soft mental label to help keep track of it, just noting, oh, pleasant, pleasant, or unpleasant, unpleasant. Particularly with the unpleasant ones, can you create enough space to just be with it? Before we end our meditation, take a few moments to reflect on what we've explored. What was most useful for you? And when you're ready, you can slowly let your eyes open. Coming into the body, bringing your attention back into the room, taking in your surroundings. As we become more and more aware of our emotions and the pleasantness or unpleasantness of them, we start to learn something. We start to learn that they don't last and they're not who we are, that they come and they go. The pleasure of our enjoyable emotions comes and goes. The displeasure of our uncomfortable emotions comes and goes. We don't have to get so hung up on them. So today, practice with this sense of the flavor or the taste of an experience. It's not just our emotions that have this quality. In fact, if you look, you'll notice pretty much everything is either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, whether it's a sound, a sight, a smell, a taste, a sensation, even a thought. Now, you don't need to get obsessed about it, but as often as you like, just see if you can pay attention to this flavor or tone of an experience. Can you be mindful of it just the way it is? This brings our session today to a close. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck out there. Take care.